Well, hello there, folks. How's it going? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, we're in the shop tonight here, and been working on this Les Paul custom shop. If you guys have been following the videos, and now we're getting into some wiring. I got the golf club out. You know it's going to get serious here, right? Okay, so just a brief explanation what I'm doing here for those people that watch the channel and do not play guitar or anything or know anything about this. What we're talking about here is pickups, okay? And these wires are going to a volume control for each and a tone control for each, okay? And then you have a wire that goes to the output jack where you plug your cord in. So this guitar happens to have what they call humbuckers. Okay, so you have a single coil pickup and you have a humbucking pickup. Now you notice there's basically two single coils in a humbucker. And what this is about is these are usually less powerful. They have a different sound, but they're more susceptible to RF or radio frequencies, fluorescent lights. They'll hum. So back in the day, I believe it was Seth Lover designed that one, this sort of a pickup which bucks the hum, okay? And that's why they call it a humbucking pickup. Just a little brief history, and like I said, for people that are watching the channel that may not know what we're talking about here, hopefully that clears things up. Okay, so what's going on here? We found the wire that goes to the bridge pickup, which is the pickup in the back of the guitar. The neck pickup is obviously closer to the neck. So what's going on here? We know this is the bridge, and that's this potentiometer, okay? And that's a volume. The other pickup, which is the neck pickup, is hooked to this potentiometer, which is also a volume. And I know it's hard to see, but this little orange thing down in here is a capacitor, which is similar to like one of these. These are new, and these are push-pull pots that we're going to install in this guitar, and I'll get into that in a minute too. But anyway, guys, so what you got to do is trace these out. You find out which is which pickup, and figure out if it's the volume, and the tones are obviously usually in the back here. So with a 4-wire pickup, what that means is this. Now this humbucking pickup is only a 2-wire pickup, so it always runs both of these together. Now a 4-wire pickup will actually give you the option to turn one of these off and only run one with a switch. And if you activate the switch in the opposite direction, they will both come on at the same time, okay? So that's what you call a splitter, and you split a humbucker. Okay, so what we have to look at though is this. If you have a 4-wire pickup, you can see these green and white wires are hooked together. Then you have a red wire that's going to the potentiometer, and the black wire or the ground is just going to the back of the potentiometer, and that grounds it out. So what this means is this. These two wires that are taped off, when they're hooked together like that, it means that the humbucker is running both coils at the same time, okay? So you have an option with a 4-wire pickup to split these with a switch. And that's what we're going to do with this. We're going to use we're going to change out this potentiometer, put one of these in, which is basically a potentiometer, just like that. One half of it, and you have the 3 terminals where you solder your wires to. And then down on the bottom here, we have the switch part of it. So when you pull it up, these 4 terminals are hooked up, so you're going to get contact with these 4 with it in the up position. You push it down and these terminals will be activated, so to speak. Okay, so that's where the 4 wires are going to come in. We're going to hook these 2 wires into the switch, and that way we can split this thing by pulling that potentiometer up or down. And you can hook it up either way. It's an option. So anyway, that's how you kind of trace this stuff out. And if you see 4 wires, then that just tells you that you're able to split it, okay? Now this wire here, I'm saying that probably, that's coming from the switch, okay? And the reason I say that, because you have a red wire going to this potentiometer and a white one going to this one, right? So when you switch the switch, you can have it on the neck pickup or you can have it on the bridge pickup. And then in the middle, you'll have both pickups. So that tells me that that's coming from the switch, okay? And those are hooked to the terminals on the potentiometer, which is another kind of a tip-off that will tell you that's the switch. And then you have a capacitor in between. Like I said, this little orange guy right here. Them are 223 capacitors, and that's just the numerical value in microfarads usually. So anyways, I'm not going to get down that wormhole, but this is kind of confusing to me here. We have this kind of a terminal strip that's got a 90-degree strip on it, and it's going to ground. So what I really don't understand is, okay, so that's coming from the switch. One of these is going to have to be hot to the output jack. So I'm guessing it's got to be, that is just bridged. They got a wire jumped over from there to ground, and this terminal goes to ground as well. And it looks like it's jumped off here in this wire, and that goes to the there it is. Okay, so we have a ground that goes to the sleeve, and then one of them goes to the tip. And that would be this black wire. So what you got to do is you got to come back in and trace them back out and find out which one is the hot. And it looks like they're both going to ground to me. Although, no. Okay, I'm going to say, no, that's still going to ground. I thought this might be the hot coming from the switch, but I'm going to have to look that over. I may have to tear the switch apart, take the back off the switch cover and find out which wires are what, but these are definitely hot coming from the switch, the red and whites, there's no doubt. The rest of it don't look too bad. Everything's grounded with bare wires and jumped across the pot, so that's all done right. Again, I'm just going to have to figure out what this is here. And that shouldn't be too hard. I could probably even do that with a multimeter and just, hook onto these right here and find out if there's any signal. Hook another one on the switch, see if you got continuity between them. So that could be the next move, but anyway, these are coming out, these 2 volumes, and we're going to install push-pulls, and we're going to be able to split the humbucking coil with using the switch, okay? So again, basically it's just like a regular potentiometer with the 3 terminals. If you just cover it up, it just looks like a regular potentiometer, but like I said, this one has the switch involved, so should work out well. I think I've got the wiring basically figured out now, and that's kind of how I approach it to diagnose this stuff. And you can usually tell that your tone controls are going to have less connections made to them than your volumes. That's something to remember. And there's a capacitor that's jumped across in between these, and that's what gives you, the ability to add treble to the pickup, or take the treble off and roll some bass in. That's what capacitors do. So different valued capacitors can actually change your tone and that sort of thing. So it's fun to experiment with that kind of stuff. I've been thinking about making some sort of a box with a bunch of different valued capacitors and some toggle switches, just so I can test guitars out and find out what I want to run for caps in them. You could also, hook some jumper wires across and across each of these with a cap in between, and you could test caps that way too. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but I thought it'd be nice to build an actual sort of a pedal box or whatever to be able to do that. I'm going to get to that someday, but okay, so anyway, that's basically the breakdown on how to figure out what's what, okay? It's not that tough. You just got to trace stuff back, and, like I said, you're only going to have a pickup wire coming through the cavity routing. You're going to have 2 pickup wires, and you're going to have 1 for the switch. Those all go through the body through a routed channel, so that's another good thing to keep in mind when you're trying to diagnose stuff. So, it's not rocket science. Look at a diagram. That helps a lot too. I refer to them constantly when I do this stuff. So, I hope this information helps, guys, and, just take it one step at a time and don't let it really confuse you. It's not really that tough, like I said. Once you look at some diagrams and do this a few times, you'll be a pro at it real quick. It just takes a little patience, and the nice thing is you have the internet to get the information now. So just another update on the neck here. Things are looking pretty good. I'm going to sand that back next time, and then we're going to probably seal that off and call it good. Looks a lot better, I think. It feels better. It's the main thing. I did write down these today. These are all pickups right here with 4 wires, okay, and what the color codes are. You can get this information online too. You have tells you the manufacturer, what each wire is, north stat, north finish, south stat. We're talking about poles. These have a north and a south to them, okay, because they're magnets and that whole bowl of soup, right? So I got them written down for pickups. These are kind of the big boys that you usually run into: Duncan, DiMaggio, Gibson, Bill Lawrence, Fender, Jackson, PV, Bare Knuckle, EMG, Actives. So you can see they're all different, and the colors are different. Look, you got black is the north stat on a Duncan, and red is on a DiMaggio. Gibson is 2, Bill Lawrence is 2, Fender's a green, that kind of thing. So you got to you can test these out too without this diagram. You can do it with a multimeter. pretty easy. You just hook between the wires and tap on the pickup. And if it jumps up, it's, the north. And if it goes south, it's the negative. So if the number, when you tap the pickup, the number will jump up. It's north. If it jumps down, it's south. And I'm pretty sure that's how that all works. But I usually just look up the diagram and go with that and just go by the color codes. But there are ways to test those, like I said. And I think that's going to wrap this one up. I got a pretty good plan on what I'm going to do. And probably the next move will be to unsolder these two potentiometers and get all the wires unhooked. And I'll take the caps out too. And then we will install the new potentiometers and start getting stuff wired back up. Okay, guys, thanks again. I really hope this helps. I mean, I know this is a really boring video, but the information is worth it, I think. I mean, when I first started doing this and I opened the back of a guitar up and looked in there, I was just, it would have been almost like reading hieroglyphics for the first time or something. I didn't have a clue, you know what I mean? So I figured I'd do this video just to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at. So, just remember you can trace all these wires out, and there's only going to be 3 that come through the cavity on a Les Paul. There's going to be 1 for each pickup, like I said, and 1 for the switch. So that'll narrow things down for you pretty easy. This gray one's got to be the switch because these are the 2 pickup wires that are hooked to the volume pots. That's where they're going to hit first. So it's easy to narrow down if you just trace everything out and remember that little thing. There's only 3 things that are going to be coming into this cavity, okay? And that should narrow it down really quick for you. Well, anyway, guys, this is getting lengthy. I didn't want to bore you that much, but I figured the info might help you. And to the folks that watch the channel that really don't play guitar, it would be a good explanation of what I'm doing here. So maybe it won't be so boring for you. Okay, guys, thanks again. We'll see you real soon. Be good. Okie doke.